Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Danny and I have literally just finished recording a video about Saul Dacres and David Adelaide. We've just jumped off. We started watching the Lawrence Okolie fight, and it's over in the blink of an eye. And here we are again speaking to each other within 5 minutes as Lawrence Okolie has destroyed Hussein MUHAMAD inside one round, even quicker than what David Adelaide did to Saul Dacres. Danny, your immediate reaction to that, the heavyweight debut of Lawrence Okolie?
Well, I don't know how much interest anyone's going to have in my reaction, given the fact I bet on both Adelaide and Okolie to go the distance, but I'll flesh something out anyway. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have done better. What's that old phrase and goes across all sports. You only beat what's in front of you. Um, Mohammed's no world beater, but he dealt with him in good fashion. I think there was going to be a lot of eyeballs in the fight. There always would be for Lawrence Okolie's heavyweight debut, but especially given the crazy weight he came in 260, 18 odd stone as they were saying on commentary. But no one can argue with it now. It was a beautiful right hand. I think we still saw bits and pieces of the holding, but I don't think you can. People will be quick to blame Lawrence Okolie for that. Hussein Mohammed adopted a very messy approach. I think is probably a polite way of putting it. But yeah, another interesting player to the heavyweight division. I think he could cause a lot of heavyweights, in the top 15 some problems. He's got all the attributes. The power certainly looks to have came up with him. So job done. Him and Joe Gallagher will be buzzing.
Yeah, job done, as you say. I think it's one of them where you can only beat who's in front of you, but it's also hard to read into like can you actually take anything from that really from a Lawrence Okolie
Yeah,
perspective, apart from the fact that the power has clearly translated up to heavyweight, which we had no doubt he would do. He been a big puncher. Okolie, yes, has had his critics over the years. Has had a couple of stinkers that you can name off the top of your head. The Isaac Chamberlain, the Matty Askin, the David Light fights. There are a couple that kind of spring to mind, but yeah, when he's dealing with people like that, as you say, you no complaints. I mean, I think there were a few eyebrows were raised when we saw the weight he came in at, like just how you're jumping up to that, like so suddenly. After obviously being a career cruiserweight and then not having that one Bridgerweight world title fight, which again was only a one round job, wasn't it?
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's one of those where he's with Queensbury now. Like you best believe probably Frank Warren and the Queensbury boys will be labeling it as if he's to get a world title shot at heavyweight. Oh, can Lawrence Okolie become a three-weight world champion? Because obviously he has that Bridgerweight one, but like it's I look at Lawrence Okolie and think like maybe he's not the most popular fighter, but he's definitely a name. People know who he is. He's a former world champion, so he can kind of get fast tracked almost up to that world level. And yeah, he's definitely an interesting player, even on these shores. Just talking about UK shores right now, like obviously you've got your Furies and your Dubois. You would have as the top two right now. Then you've got your Joshuas, and then below that you're looking at someone like a Lawrence Okolie who's been there, done it at world level at cruiserweight. Yeah, and depending on how these belts go and how the Fury Usyk rematch goes, mate, could Lawrence Okolie be fighting for a world title at heavyweight before the end of the year? Wouldn't put it past him. So yeah, I mean, you can't really read much into it apart from the fact that yeah, he's still the power is definitely translated, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what 2025 holds for Lawrence Okolie. Talking about 2025 again, won't be any. That wasn't a grueling fight. Won't have taken much out of Lawrence Okolie. Maybe he didn't have much of a camp either, judging by his weight. But what do you want to see from Lawrence Okolie in the new year, Danny? What do you reckon he could achieve in 2025?
I want to see him versus Fabio Wardley. I think that's a fight that would sell out the O2. We need big fights in UK. I know they'll both want a taste of the Saudi money. Obviously, Fabio's had it a couple of times. Lawrence yet to get it, and that's probably what him and his team, from a financial perspective, will be angling towards. And it is a fight that would happen over there, but I would love to see it happen. I would love to see it happen, at the O2 in London. You talk about Okolie being, fast tracked up to that world level because of what he achieved at cruiserweight and Bridgerweight. He's number five of the WBC was before tonight. He got put straight up there. So, talk about the belts fragmenting. Obviously, Kabiel Zhang is for the interim. I think Bakoley's up there, but he's going down the IBF route. And after that, Lawrence Okolie's right there. I know Fabio Wardley. I don't know what his rankings are with the governing bodies. He's ranked in pretty much all of them, I think. So that could serve as a final eliminator for a world title. And maybe 6 months' time, maybe the second half of 2025. I think it's a great fight. I think it's such an interesting fight stylistically. I'm not sure what it would look like in the ring. I mean, you've got such a contrast of styles. You've got Lawrence Okolie, who definitely does his best work when he keeps things long. He's got very long arms. Where Fabio Wardley, he gets inside, and we talked in the Adelaide fight about when he just puts the foot down and goes into that like sort of Super Saiyan mode. How's Okolie going to deal with that? Is Wardley going to be able to do that with how long and how awkward Okolie is? I think it's a really interesting fight stylistically. It's a fight that would build certainly the winner's profile, as I say, a domestic heavyweight fight. It can't not sell, and that's what I want to see next. Both Queensberry now too, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you mentioned at the end there. I was going to say it's there's no excuses of politics really getting in the way of that fight. I think, but both signed with Frank Warren and Queensbury. I mean, yeah, I'm all for that fight. I mean, it's a mouthwatering fight and prospect. You're even just thinking about it. I'd love to see that. Yeah, I don't know when exactly, but at some stage in 2025, hopefully in the first half of the year, maybe. Depends. But yeah, I agree with what you've said. They'll obviously want the Saudi money. Everyone will. If you and I were professional fighters, Danny, you best believe we'd be all over the Saudi money. Do you know what I mean?
One day,
But,
mate, one day.
but as you say, like we still need massive fights to happen on our doorstep, and that is a massive fight. As you said, O2 Arena definitely sells it out. I agree with what you've said there, and yeah, it's an interesting one, mate. We'll go down that route again. If I had to ask you who you would back to win that fight now,
Ooh.
who are you backing if you had to pick one?
Oh, put me on the spot here, Paul. I think Okolie would knock him out. I think I pick Okolie to beat him. I think Wardley struggles a bit with a good jab. He struggled a bit with Fraser Clark's jab in the first fight. He struggled with Adelaide's jab at the start of their fight. And I think he would struggle with Okolie's jab and his range at the start of their fight. And I think Okolie would land and he would be able to land that right hand. And I don't know if could Ward to take that. I mean, Clark had him hurt, and for my money, Lawrence Okolie's a bigger puncher than Fraser Clark, so much more experience. I know Fabio was probably sick of people mentioning the white collar background, and he has done certainly enough to shake that tag, but it is relevant. You have to bring it up. And I just think Okolie would beat him. Go on, what do you think? I'm not letting you get away without giving one.
Oh, no confidence. I feel like people might watch our content and think that I'm a Fabio Wardley hater. I'm really, really not. But I do just seem to pick against him. I don't know why, and I would probably back a Okolie as well. But in saying that, mate, like I know it's a different weight division and it's a while ago now, but you look at that Chris Billman Smith fight, and like he was down a couple of times at Okolie, and you're thinking, if Wardley lands, it could be game over as well. As we've seen with
Yeah, of
with the Fraser Clark rematch, like there's no doubt about the fact that
course.
both of them have a huge, huge power in both fists, particularly the right hand. And yeah, I mean, pushing a prediction, I'd probably lean a Okolie as well. I think either way, it would be a stoppage. I know Okolie could maybe make it boring if he wanted to, I suppose, but then could he? I don't know. I think, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go Lawrence Okolie probably first half of the fight, but equally, if Fabio Worley stopped Lawrence Okolie in like 2 rounds, mate, I mean, who knows? But yeah, the more we talk about it now, that's like the only fight. I've got blinkers on now. That's the only fight I want to see. I don't want to see either of
Yeah.
them having any other fight in 2025. Mate, that's the one for me. Final question, just rounding it off. Again, putting you on the spot. Has to be a yes or no answer, Danny. Does Lawrence Okolie win a world heavyweight title?
Does Lawrence Okolie win a heavyweight world title? Would he beat Zhang or Kabayel if they end up becoming full champion? Maybe. Fuck it, yes, why not? I'm on board. I'm on board.
Oh,
Big sauce is
I was
NI
going to
biggest
say,
fan.
full aboard the sauce hype train.
Why not?
I'm going to say no. I
Okay.
think those names you mentioned there beat Okolie personally, but like, what's to say? My opinion would change if he was to have a Fabio Worley fight and he won that early as well. Then you probably would be like, okay, this guy can win a world title. So yeah, that all remains to be seen, mate, in the future. Guys, let us know what you think of Lawrence Okolie's heavyweight debut. And yeah, how far he could go. Can he win a world title? Can he become a three-weight world champion? Of course, if you're including the cruiserweight. And yeah, as always, please do hit that subscribe button to like this video and drop us a comment on what you think. Danny, thanks very much, mate. Speak to you again soon.
Cheers, Paul.